Oh, well, I was going to tie this into Oren's thing since we was talking about his NCAA experience from Coleman Scott. What do we think about the
Oh,
Coleman move?
I love that man. It was such a shock, and immediately I didn't think that he was going to Oklahoma State. And like the moment I read that comment, I was like, why didn't I think that he was going directly to Oklahoma State? But the whole Esposito thing was weird because it felt very political almost. Like, oh, Esposito is taking a new position. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, why is he leaving Oklahoma State? Oh, that's why. But I don't know. Was it correlate? Was it like arranged before? Was Coleman Scott like, hey, I'm going to go there, and Esposito's like, okay, I'm out? Or was Esposito like, I'm out, and Coleman's like, okay, I'm out too. This is where I want to go. We
I
have
don't
something like that.
know.
I mean, you can speculate, right? You can speculate. I think
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Esposito. I'm a big fan of Coleman Scott as well, but I think just the way and the timing of everything, it seems very like he was basically told like, okay, we know John Smith, he's getting to the end. We don't know if it's going to be this year. We don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after, just because I think his son's going to be a freshman this year. Is that right? Smith's son. For me, it seems like Esposito got forced out. Like that's purely speculative. This another position to open up with USA Wrestling. It's a great job. He's going to do a really great job there. He's gone, and now you saw Tyler Caldwell got promoted. Gary Wayne Harding got promoted, and Coleman Scott leaves.
Yeah.
Now this was a while ago because this was after Oklahoma State had a terrible year, and I was talking with Carlo about it. And one of the things that I feel like is the reason for part of why they're not having as much success. It's kind of like this happens sometimes with big programs, except for Penn State, but they almost get in this bubble where they almost get stuck in like this is the skill that we do, this is the techniques, this is the way that we run practice, this is how we
I
do
agree.
things, and
We
they don't
gotta
change.
wait.
And John Smith has even admitted when like NIL and the transfer portal stuff was happening that like, okay, initially they were not like down to play that game. And after they had a bad year, like had this press conference is like, we're gonna look into it. Like we have to come up with a
Yeah.
plan. And I think this was probably their plan. And Coleman Scott is probably the best example of a Cowboy alum that went off and did his own thing, worked with an Iowa Golden Boy, Tony Ramos, got a completely different experience, still taking all of the lessons they learned from John Smith in the program. But now he's gone out and done his own thing, made something, had success, created national champions, had a
Mm-hmm.
really good team at UNC. Now he's bringing all that experience back to OSU. I think that's a great fit. And it's probably the best fit for them if they didn't want to hire outside that bubble.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Do you think anyone follows him?
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Who would go? You
I,
mean wrestler or
yeah.
coach?
Wrestler.
Yeah, I mean they got Kane. He's tough. He just took like top 6, I think, and
Zach
then
Sherman is really good. I like
I think
him.
he's done though. Is he? Is he? He
I
might
just
have.
remember when he was a Blair kid, and he's been relevant. Just he hasn't like placed or anything
Yeah.
yet.
They
But
got who else do they got?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, but you'd have to look at the OSU lineup and see exactly where these guys fit.
Mhm.
Even though they've had a down year, like they still have some pretty tough guys in their lineup.
Yeah,
I can't name any of them right now off the top of my head. I
they
think
got
G Feller's
Whitlake. They
Lachlan
got
McNeil.
Whitlick,
Whitlake,
G Feller's gone.
Olenek. They got
Oh, I forgot. How did I forget about Linux, man?
come on, man.
Wait, where'd Olenek? He's at Oklahoma State.
Oh,
He
yes,
transferred
sir.
from NIU. Yeah.
Man, I keep forgetting that. Good for him.
Who else? They got the Mastro Giovanni's. They were the 25, and then I think the one of the
Well,
ones.
the bigger one, the younger one, just left.
The bigger one, right?
Yeah, he went to Northern Colorado.
You're right. Yeah, I did see that.
I have like the sheet up.
Voinovich is gone. He went to
Voinovich,
Iowa.
yeah.
Who?
Voinovich.
They got what's their 90 Serber. He's tough too.
Yeah.
Serber. And then I feel like they have one other guy.
They have some guys coming in.
They got Plot. Dustin Plot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's tough.
So they got all Americans throughout the lineup for sure.
Yeah.
They just I think they need some new guidance is going to do them very well.